Hey guys, it's Summoner here with a guide to help you get out of gold. I've played over 5,000 games of League of Legends, and after a long break from ranked, I've come back and just recently smashed through gold. I'm here to give you some of my biggest tips to improve and hopefully set you on the right track to climbing in rank. Now don't worry if you're in bronze, silver, gold or an even higher rank, I'm going to make sure there's something in this video for everyone. I have progressed very fast this season guys, but you need to remember I have been playing this game since season 2 and I've been in platinum and diamond multiple times, but trust me, after this video you'll be on your way to getting there too. When I initially started playing ranked back in season 3, I managed to get from bronze 2 to gold 1 in 600 games of ranked. But with the tips I'm going to tell you, you don't need to play loads of games to improve like I did. You just need to focus on learning and following some simple guidelines. I've got 4 key tips to help you get out of gold, so let's get into it. First major tip is to have a small champion pool. My stats from season 3 say I played over 60 champions, which is way too much. More information isn't always better. In gold, having high skill on a few champions is far more important than overall game knowledge. You want to pick champions you're confident with and learn the matchups, building that knowledge around a few key champions. If you have a champion pool of 40 champions, you'll improve very slowly as you'll learn little bits about all the champions, but you won't be able to put it all together. In season 3, when you could play any role, it made more sense to play lots of champions. But now that you choose your lane and get it nearly every time, it makes more sense if you instead play 5 champions, because you'll gain skill so much faster. Your champion mechanics improve, but you will also add more champion matchup knowledge to your memory to help you in the future. If you've tower dived 100 times as Jarvan, you'll probably know whether or not you can get the kill when you come to tower dive. But if you've tower dived 100 times on 50 champions, you might not be sure. I want you guys to look at your op.gg rank stats and see how many champions you're playing. If it's over 15, you need to cut your pool down and choose more mains. My second tip is to understand what gold players do wrong. Let's talk about some of the big mistakes they make, and I have 5 points to go through. Mistake number 1. Gold players usually fall into one of 2 categories. They aren't aggressive enough because they don't know the matchup, or they are way too aggressive because they overestimate their champion and they underestimate yours. If you know more than they do, you can be more aggressive and come out on top, which is why learning matchups on individual champions is so important. Mistake number 2. If a gold player makes a mistake, they generally just keep on making it until it's too late and the game should be won. This means we should be trying to make our opponents make as many mistakes as possible, like missing minions by pushing them into the tower, or letting the wave push into your tower so the jungler can gank. If you test all the areas of their game knowledge, they're going to be bad at something, and when you find out what that is, you can just keep punishing it. They might be too aggressive in 1v1, losing too much HP. That means you can just keep forcing them into fights and winning the trades. They might be really bad at autoing minions, and every time they walk up to last hit, you might be able to auto them for free, eventually getting them low so you can go in on them and win. Mistake number 3. Gold players aren't aggressive when it comes to getting objectives. Towers, dragons, so on. Usually they are quite good at getting the first 2 towers, but after that they just run around the map farming until 25 minutes doing nothing. If you have a lead, you want to try and extend that lead by getting more global gold and buffs, and your gold lead wants to be constantly increasing. If you get 3 kills and sit there for 20 minutes doing nothing, you've allowed the opponents to catch up, because at the start of the game, let's say the difference between your gold and his gold was 1,000, which is quite a lot in the early game. When you have no items, that makes a massive difference, but later on in the game, when you have 4 items, an extra giant spell isn't going to change that much later on. Always try to work out what the next objective you can get is and what you need to do to take that so you can snowball your lead into a victory. Mistake number 4. Gold players don't understand when to let a minion wave push towards them or when to push it towards their opponents. I think I'll make a separate video on this as there's a lot to talk about, but if you simply follow these 2 rules, you'll be far better than your opponents. Rule 1. Let the minions push towards your tower when you want a gank or don't want to get ganked. Rule 2. push the wave into your opponents when you want to get the objective and aren't worried about being ganked. If you weren't thinking like this and you were just pushing your wave in because you felt like it, this will make a massive improvement to your game. This is what to think about so you don't feed the enemy jungler, but this is half the battle in gold games, and if you do this right when no one else is thinking about it, you'll improve so much faster than everyone else.
Gotcha, bitch.
Mistake number 5. In gold games, teams usually group around 25 to 30 minutes, especially if the goal gap is close, and then the game usually turns into an ARAM for the next 15 minutes. If you decide to split push, I can guarantee your team will go in on a 4v5, all die, and then blame you for not being there, even though they shouldn't have been so deep when you were split pushing trying to get objectives. I have witnessed this recently so many times, guys. They cannot help it, and I've just learnt that in gold you need to stay with your sheep and you need to guard them. Their map awareness is so bad they didn't even realise you were gone, so just stay close by, farming in the jungle or sat in a bush trying to kill an opponent. Then when your team ints, you can at least try and save the day, or even better, maybe you could have found a better engage before they do that. This moves me on to my third tip, playstyle. The playstyle I would highly recommend and I've been using is full AD assassin with a massive focus on tower pushing and objectives. You may need to find what works for you, but I think this takes advantage of gold players perfectly and works insanely well at lower elos. I've also been smashing my high MMR rank games where I've been getting placed against platinum 3s, 2s and 1s while in gold. I have found Jarvan an extremely good champion for taking advantage of gold players. You can build him full AD and he can one-shot all squishy champions, completely taking them out of the game. If you play him jungle, you can have massive map presence, and since map awareness is reasonably low in gold, players overextend and Jarvan can really capitalise on their mistakes. Having a champion with the jump is massive because it allows you to be far more aggressive, especially as the jungler. Ganking lanes is so much easier and you don't need to rely on your team at all. You'll notice if you get invaded by the enemy jungler at level 4, your team will never come and help you, which means if you invade, you can walk around the enemy's jungle virtually risk free. If you then have a jump to go over a wall, you literally should not be able to die unless the enemy jungler is fed, in which case don't invade. The enemy jungler should rarely do this to you at this elo, meaning you're making him weaker by taking his camps and killing him in the jungle, putting him behind. You can then focus on killing the squishy opponents, putting them behind, gaining you a lead. And then you need to use that gold lead to get objectives whenever and wherever you can, and learning when to do this will come with experience. If you practice getting objectives in game, great, but try and think about why you're getting them. Ask yourself, what did I do which allowed me to take this tower, instead of just turning your brain off? If you ask yourself more questions and why you're doing things, you'll improve massively, and that's it, guys. It isn't about the result of any single game, it's about improving overall as a player. My fourth tip is to never have high expectations of your team. If you go on op.gg and see your team and the enemy have all played 1,000 games that season and are hard stuck gold 4, then if you play at gold 4 level, that game should be a 50-50 coin flip on who wins. The only thing that can change the outcome is you. You need to take all the kills and try to carry your team. They are there to be carried by you, not the other way around. Don't expect them to land any skill shots, push any towers, or do anything useful without you guiding them or helping them. When you gank a lane, think about what you need your laner to do. If you need him to hit one ability in auto, that's probably a good gank. If he has to hit his entire combo, and so do you to get the kill, then you should probably focus on somewhere else, as you are not going to get that kill and he's probably going to miss half his abilities. Even better, you could go full AD Jarvan and then you can one hit actually anybody and you don't need your laners to do anything, so this is perfect. If you do everything, you don't need them for anything. That is it, guys. Always assume your team is garbage and it's garbage day, so you've got to carry the trash. Finally, some simple tips I have which everyone knows, but I'll just go over. Increasing your average farm per game is massive for climbing in rank. This can sometimes be difficult at lower ranks as players tend to want to fight more, But if you can win trades in lane while maintaining good farm levels over your opponents, you'll have a massive advantage, and you can use this to snowball you later into the game.
Nice.
70 farm at 10 minutes and 160 farm at 20 minutes is a very good target for gold players. I want you to focus on last hitting in game and even practice and training with no opponents. You can even practice versus an intermediate bot which trade quite well but play badly against all-ins. This will really help you improve your farming in game. Another tip: general game knowledge is always going to improve your game, no matter what it is. I would focus more around what lane you want to play. If you're jungling, then learn jungle timers, paths and ganking opportunities. Learning more about champions is a good skill to have, but learning your lane is the most crucial part, guys, and you need to do that first. Then, once you've done that, you can learn about champion damage, CDs and power spikes. It's nice to have a slight knowledge of this, but you don't need to go in depth learning the ins and outs of every champion straight away. Lastly, playing more games is always going to make you improve. Even if you learn one piece of new information every game, I would just recommend playing less and asking yourself 10 questions per game. In my eyes, that's way more effective. Ask yourself questions like, why did my top laner feed? Was he doing something wrong? Would I make that mistake? And how would I play in that matchup? What should I have done as the jungler? Should I have ganked him to try and catch him up, or focused on another lane that could carry him? If I focus objectives in global gold, is that going to be enough to catch him back up so he stops feeding? Or, if I give him lots of ganks, is he the type of player who could potentially carry us? Anyway guys, that's everything for now. I have so much more to share, so if you enjoyed this or found it useful, be sure to let me know in the comments and I'll make some more of these guides. Please like, comment and share and subscribe. Obviously I've been playing League for a long time, but I'm new to streaming and video making, so if you guys have any feedback about anything you've seen or any questions about improving, I'd love to hear them. You can write questions in the comments, ask me when I'm streaming, tweet me or write them in my Discord, and I'll respond as soon as I can. And make sure to follow me on Twitch. Alright guys, I hope to see you in the next one. Good luck on the Rift. Hell yeah, boy! That's a bit more like it, and let's get that to diamond.